Hey folks, this is the ioEther, and we're back with some more World of Tanks. As you can see, this is Anakin Dude Cool in his Object 704, and this is a tier 10 game on Cliffs. Now, he is platooned up with the one, the only, Deadly Smurf. This is one of our epic Patreons. Epic patrons? Yeah, patrons. Who help support the channel and keep the channel going. So, can I get a thank you for Deadly and a thumbs up for being AFK at the start of games? Interesting. Anyways, before we get started, oh, yes, of course. What is this tank? This is the Object 704. This is a tier 9 Russian tank destroyer. Can't tell if it's fully upgraded or not. But, anyways, this was one of the most feared tanks in the game before the introduction of the Yagzilla and the 183 Death Star. So, yeah, this should be a fun game. He should have the big BL-10 on it. And the BL-10? Should be, I don't remember. Don't remember the Top Gun on the 704, but either way, I know it will hurt. Look at this. The 750 average damage, 286 millimeters penetration on standard rounds, 329 if he decides to load that gold. And of course, before we get started, as he works his way into position, if you want to support the channel, one of the best ways you can do so is to hit that like button, especially for, I mean, the giant. This is him. Okay. He is apparently trying to look at his tank from interesting perspectives. Can get a like for this giant gun on this great map and all the targets he's going to have in the world. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can share this with your friends and clanmates, and I would greatly appreciate that. As we're running something like 8 subscribers away from 400, which I really want to hit at just as much as he wants to hit that bat chat. Oh, you know how nice it would be to land a nice AP round into the face of that bat. Be nicer around land an HE round, because of course in 90 millimeters of penetration is definitely going through a bat chat all the way through, and almost enough average damage to kill it in one shot. That would be just amazing. I don't think it's gonna happen though. The bat chat's being really coy, oddly enough, because there's already a derp gun in his face. Enemy is just pushing around the corner on the top side, the 8 line, with 2 tier 9s here. That shouldn't, they should be enough to keep an IS-3 at bay. But apparently, whatever's going on with our tier 9s over there, it doesn't involve keeping a tier 8 at bay. Maybe they were afraid of the IS-7, but I don't think so. I think they just don't know how to play their tanks, or are playing really far back for whatever reason, and so they're giving the enemy team the ability and the free reign to just push over and do whatever they want to. Now it looks like Deadly Smurf managed to land a shell into the engine neck of that IS-7, not penning it, however, and did about 200 or 300 damage to it, which is quite nice. IS-3 is now over there with his IS-7. It's a little weird for them both to be over there. Looks like there's a lot of enemies stacked up there against our 2 allies, and shotgun to the face of a bat chat kills the bat chat midair. Why don't I have this T-49 game? Anyways. Ooh, a T-95 has showed up on the battlefield. But for right now, we are 4 minutes into this game. I've just done 4 minutes of talking, trying to keep you guys entertained. And that was the first shell fired this game, and we don't even know if it hit. I think it did. But unfortunately, with an unnamed shot like that, the odds are it quite possibly just got absorbed by the tracks. And because he's loading AP here, if it just got absorbed by the tracks, it didn't do anything, which is really annoying. Believe me. So he's backed up off the ridge line because he doesn't want to get lit up by these guys. If that IS-3 lights him or something else lights him up, then he's going to be more or less a sitting target for a lot of tanks right now. And he doesn't want to be that way. Unfortunately, Deadly is taking a pounding up there. And, I mean, it is the bane of a derp gun. It does mean you have to get really close to the enemy or aim for a really long time. And you're likely to take enough return fire to make that not really worth it. However, at the same time, with the enemies pushing it... Ooh, look at that. We may have actually connected. T10's on a much lower health than he was last time when he was spotted. So assume we did at least 750 damage there. Look at that. Our IS-3... Okay. I'm going to pause for a second. This is a tier 10 game. Why in the world do we have an IS-3 on top of a cliff? I mean, I could understand if it was a T-32. I could understand if it was a... like a current run. It's got the gun depression. It would have a stupidly hard time getting up there. But like a T-32... Yeah, actually, you probably just stick that turret over the edge, aim down, and pop shots after shot after shot into engine decks, and be perfectly fine. And actually, in a really dominating position, assuming you can get your tank up there without getting dead. However, this is an IS-3 we're talking about. In order to shoot at any of the guys up here, like the IS-7, or the T-95, or the IS-3s, he has to poke his tank so far over that edge as to almost be falling off the cliff. No wonder he's on 1 health. He's probably got shot every time he tries to go for a shot. Is he being effective? There's only one IS-3 on our team, so we'll know at the end of the game if he's being effective or if he just face rolled himself into death. I personally think he'd be doing a lot better if he was squared off against one of these buildings or a rock, or even up against the side of the cliff so that he could side scrape and be firing into these guys. Also, he could always have situated himself right here and used this rock to face off against, and thus he would have meant that this push through the middle would have been a lot harder to succeed. But no, he's up on a cliff trying to shoot down because he is totally pro and not an idiot at all. Object 140 pushing over it, thinking that he is in the clear. That shot missed, and Deadly dies for... Deadly pays the price for Anakin missing. Oh, not just... But apparently the 140 wants to die, as he just sat up there in the open for more than enough time for us to reload and fire again. Unfortunately, this is one of those times when, being in like a bat chat or any type of real autoloader would be so much fun right now, because one shot from a bat chat and that IS-7 is dead, assuming you pen, which when they're, wolf packing like this is actually not that hard. You just wait for a side or a back shot. One shot, that IS-3 is dead. Two shots into that other IS-3 and it's dead. And left only with a T-95, you can either shoot it or outrun it, or... Yeah, I'd probably dump the shot into the AT-15 over there and then run that way. But either way, as the 704 though, Anakin doesn't have these options. He doesn't have the autoloader component. He also fires one massive shell. So if he has to kill all these guys, which at the present time it looks that way, that means he's going to be wasting a lot of potential damage on the IS-7 and especially the IS-3. Now, I'm really, really hoping that our Panzer Kampfwagen can kill one of these two. If I were him, I'd be aiming for the IS-3, because you can kill an IS-3, assuming you don't bounce for some silly reason. It should be really easy for him to kill an IS-3, assuming he's loaded, which I guess is probably the biggest assumption. If he's loaded, he should be able to kill that I3. If he does do that, then it will make Anakin's job so much easier killing the other 3. But he's in such a tough spot right now because of the fact that he's got 4 enemy tanks right here, and he's got this AT-15 approaching him in this direction. The VK we can not think about for the moment, and we are in cover from the T-10, so not so worried about him. But 4 tanks right here is a target he has to take out. If he can keep his friendly alive, this will improve his odds in this game so much. However, it seems unlikely, right? So we're just going to go ahead and let this play. He takes out the IS-3 because it's the lowest health target. Unfortunately, that is a ton of potential damage lost because of the fact that we had to take out the IS-3. Now he's going to go for the other IS-3 because, again, he should be able to take it out as a single shell. Unfortunately, that shell misses, and now he's in a really, really bad spot. Because A, the enemy knows where he is, and B, he didn't kill anybody with that last shot. He's got more than enough ammo to do the job. It's just whether or not he can connect with targets. Blasting that AT-15, great job. He could be shooting the T-10, but he shoots the AT-15 and then his team cleans it up. Now he's looking at the T-10 because it is the next one-shotable target in his view in his shooting gallery, really, because this is really a shooting gallery right now. Again, he's looking at the VK. However, it's not this time because he can one-shot it. It's because he can shoot it without threat to himself. Also, it helps out the T-95. Keeping the T-95 alive will help him out in the long run. So he does it. He keeps the T-95 alive temporarily. T-95 actually has an E4 on him right now. So that's something Anakin could take out. But it looks like he really wants to take out this I-7. Then he just pops over the ridge line and fires through the side of this guy's tank. Don't forget, he's got that 286 pen on standard rounds. So he actually can pen a lot of these tanks, even frontally, assuming he's aiming for maybe not the strongest part of the armor. So now there's just this IS-3 now next to him. Now there's still another T-95 around here somewhere, but the T-95 cannot turn very fast. Well, okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the T-95 for a second. I guess this is gonna have to be where can I zoom in on the T-95? Seriously, why can't I go this way anymore? Oh, I see why. Because it's the extent of the gun. Oh well, I guess we'll just talk about it from here then. These back 2 sections are the T-95's fuel tanks. Those things light on fire surprisingly easily. I wish Anakin had fired a little bit sooner and into these tanks, because if he'd done so, the likelihood of lighting a T-95 on fire is actually higher than you think it is. And it's one of the best ways to kill these things off, is to literally cook them to death. But, I mean, we still did 743 damage, so probably worth it, right? Again, enemies just... I don't understand why there are enemies over here. The T-10, the E4, everything else that has gone that way has died. Why would the Yag Tiger think, ooh, this is a good place to be? It's not like everyone else over here has died. If you see your friend die, don't run to the spot where your friend died. Oddly enough, this is likely what you did. IS-3 decides he needs to push up that ledge and just gets himself obliterated for it. And now the T-95 is facing us, so we can't actually poke back out. Understandable, but up until this particular second in time, we hadn't received damage. So knowing the T-95 is fired, he could actually jump down there, flank it, and fire. But, and here's the big but, What is the Jag Tiger doing? Side on to a 704. What were you thinking was going to happen? Yes, I know he was afraid of the Exile, but... Standard round. Okay, so he is on his last standard round. And apparently he is... Well, no, we know he's more maneuverable than T95. So in a second here, he's going to load up. And he's going to skewer his tank. And... No! Seriously? Seriously, Exile? Seriously? After all that work, the Exile is like, no, it's mine. Ugh, that's annoying. Considering how much damage he did this game. This is assuming, mind you, that he didn't pen that shot on the T10, which I think he actually landed. Assuming he didn't pen it, he's 6,700 damage this game. 6 kills. He has been the monster supporting his team, and the Yagzilla just is like, no, I'm just gonna steal that kill from you. You know, that just ticks me off. But this game's gone on long enough, so quick little better results, and I'll get you guys on your way. But this was an awesome game. Thank you so much, Anakin, for this. And one last thing to note, no premium was fired in the making of this video. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, you can do it too. Mastery Badge, Ace Tanker, Bruiser, Fire for Effect, High Caliber, yeah, and Top Gun. One last thing to note I want to say about this is that he waited such a long time before he started firing. And he didn't wait that long because he couldn't take shots. He waited that long for the best shots. He waited that long to make sure the shots he was taking were optimal and not just random spits of damage, or whereas he could have landed some HE shells early on in the game, he didn't necessarily do it because he wanted to wait to guarantee fully penetrating shots and not just kind of annoying people. And not only that, it would have given away his position a lot sooner, whereas he waited until he could he waited until the optimal time to reveal himself and start harvesting damage. And yeah, the Exile only does 2k. That's that. And where's that IS-3? Look like that. That IS-3 did 1,200 damage. That's impressive. More impressive than I thought it was, considering where he was. And this is why Deadly didn't send it in, because it wasn't an amazing game for him. It was still a great game, though. And it looks like that T10 shot didn't, in fact, hit at all. We didn't get any critical hits or anything. So that first shell didn't make contact. That's a little annoying, but oh well. I mean, it happens, right? 14 shells fired. Every single thing that hit the target went in. And considering the fact that he's firing purely AP and none of it gold, that's impressive and well done. Unfortunately, not running a premium account, so didn't make much money off this. But he could have had he been running a premium account. Either way, though, it just goes to prove that just because you're running a standard account and not firing any gold rounds doesn't mean you can't make money in this game at higher tiers, and doesn't mean you can't make experience. I do want to know, though, how many perks your crew has, Anakin, and whether or not this tank is fully decked out or somewhere in the midst of being stock or something like that. Those are the only two questions I have. That, and thank you for this game. This was amazing to watch. I will see you all later. Have a great night. Please remember to hit that like button if you have enjoyed this, and share this with your friends and clanmates if you want to help the channel grow. 8 more to 400. WoT. And I will see you all next time. This ioEther out.